My mind won't shut the fuck up. It is always telling me how awful I am, how fat I am, and how unworthy I am, and I have fucking had enough. The best part is, I don't actually have to listen to that mean voice inside my head anymore. But now comes the hard part, cleaning up all of its mess and getting rid of every single fucked up word it has ever spoken to me. This is my therapy, it is my way of healing and sharing all I have learnt over the last few years. So enjoy my fucked up thoughts. Food has been a significant part of my life for most of my life. I became a food addict when I was a young teenage girl, and I held on to this addiction for dear life until only somewhat recently. I most certainly didn't have a food fear. Food was my friend. I was never afraid of it. But yet there was an undercurrent of said food fear running quietly in the background. Not necessarily from me, but from others. There has been many times where we as humans have got it very, very wrong when it comes to food. A constant battle is at play to either demonize certain foods or for other foods to be sent straight to heaven for their heavenly components. And this has been going on for quite some time. And over the years, information has been released as the latest exciting news in food, only to then be dismissed by another piece of information that is its polar opposite. And it is highly confusing for those trying to keep up. In the 1970s, there was quite the quiet battle between a biochemist and a physiologist about whether fat was more detrimental to health than sugar, and the other way around. Now, this argument resulted in fat being ruled by the American government as a major health concern, which introduced a gazillion low-fat items to the supermarket shelves. Sugar was now a prominent player in all of these products to ensure that flavour was still present. Now, fast forward 30 plus years and sugar is now on the hit list. And in the last 50 years, there has been other battles raging on in the media with story after story reporting old, new information, confirming and denying that this food is good for you and that this food is bad for you. And it's a mindfuck listening to all of it. So there has been the butter versus margarine war. There's healthy fats versus saturated fats. There's calories in, calories out. Eggs to eat or not to eat. That is the question. There's too much sugar, too much fat, too many calories. Does it have a bazillion grams of protein? Because protein is the golden child at the moment. And it cannot do any wrong. And even the food pyramids have been a little topsy-turvy, with grains for a very long time being shown as the best to be consumed on higher levels, with fruit and veg, somewhere in the middle. But food pyramids, they have changed numerous times, but only recently has fruit and veg got to the bottom spot, where it is encouraged to be consumed more than the other food groups. But when did we begin to rely on others to tell us what to eat instead of knowing for ourselves? Did it begin when manufacturing was introduced as a way to get more food out to more people? When the idea of putting everything in a can was conceived? Did it begin when convenient foods started popping up in areas close to homes and schools? Did it begin when those terrible mothers went out to work and didn't have time at the end of the day to cook for their children, so it was microwave dinners and fast food? Or did it begin when microwaves were invented, so convenience food became even more convenient? Did it begin when advertisers advertised their foods for sale in a way that had us believing they were good for us, or just quick and easy, or that they made our lives so much better, or that they were cheap. We could really blame it on a multitude of things. We could demonize it all. And as humans, that's what we like to do. We like to blame. Maybe we have been manipulated into accepting the opinion of others as if that is the final say in the matter. Our society is full of history that has changed us as a whole. The pandemic in recent years saw the rise of food being delivered from any restaurant and any fast food joint or any supermarket at all times of the day and night. Food is everywhere, which begs the question, is all of this information really causing us to fear food, or are other factors at play? As I was growing out of my teenage years and into early adulthood, I saw food as only being able to do two things. Food could either help you lose weight or make you fat. That was basically all food was back in the 90s. It wasn't healthy as such. Maybe as a spin to get you to buy it because it will ultimately help you to lose that unwanted and stubborn fat. This message is still being repeated today, and in so many different ways, with all of social media and all of the platforms and internet pages being dedicated to losing weight. The message of fear about food reaches a wider audience. When I scroll through my newsfeed or I get sucked into watching too many funny animal videos, there is always one or two videos that sneak on in on how best to lose weight, how best to eat, how best to exercise. Don't eat this, don't eat that, only eat this, only eat that. This will make you fat. This will make you skinny. This will cause disease. This will get you healthy. Don't run. Don't do cardio. Just do weights. It is so contradicting. It is so manipulative. It's opinionated. It's money-making. It's bad, good, bad, good, bad, good. How will we ever know what to eat? How will we ever know what to do with our bodies? How will we ever know what is best for us if someone else doesn't tell us? How can we even trust the information that's out there? I'm guilty of this. I put so much trust in the opinionated facts of others that I lost sight of what I needed, what was best for me. We are all so ridiculously different. How does this one thing work for everyone? Well, it doesn't, does it? Now, I may not have had food fear, but my connection to food has taught me so much over the last couple of years. My addiction is now behind me, and I can honestly say that food is no longer my fucked up friend. We have reconciled. I have apologized to food because I blamed the food for my addiction. I wasn't addicted to food because the food was addictive. I was addicted because I hated myself. I wanted to punish my disgusting body. I wanted to rid myself of every part of who I was and who I desperately wanted to be. So I stuffed myself stupid with food to shove it all down into the depths of my being. So I didn't have to deal with it. If my food addiction has taught me nothing else, it is this. Food is not the enemy. Food can actually be a great friend. It is there to nourish us when we are hungry. It is there to be enjoyed as it nourishes our body. That's it. Why make it anything else? Every week, there is another story about food that makes it out to be bad. And all of that information has not deterred many human beings to stop eating said food. Thousands of products laden with fat, sugar, salt, additives, and all the other crap in processed foods, they're thrown into shopping trolleys every single week, every single day around the world. People still eat that stuff. Why? Because people will always do whatever the fuck they want. And so we should. Because inside the mind of every single one of the 8 billion people on this planet, there lies a very distinct and personalized world, made up of feelings and thoughts and experiences and circumstances, pain and trauma, love and hate, ideas and desires, wants and needs, and just so much more. All of that contributes to how they eat and why. My why is different to your why. My life so far is nothing at all like your life so far. So how can we all be expected to eat exactly the same? Exercise the same, live the same. It feels like there is this desperate need for it all to just be uniform. But we know that we don't want that. That's why most of us rebel in one way or another. And the idea of what works for me will absolutely work for you too is just ridiculous. Maybe all of it will, maybe some of it will, maybe none of it will. It's okay to try though, if it feels right for you. And that is the most important part in all of it. What feels right for you. Not just because someone said so. Years ago, I used to have a very controlling nature. It wasn't good. Where what I believed was what we all must believe. It's one of those not so charming human traits, and we all have it to one degree or another. Even with the best of intentions. Now, I don't want all of this to be misconstrued. I'm not having a go at anyone, maybe just a little bit, but everyone is entitled to be who they are, whatever they may be. We are all here for different reasons. But just because someone shared something doesn't automatically make them right. And that goes for me too. There really is too much fear around food. I genuinely don't think any of it is helping the bigger picture. There are too many variables that create the conclusion. But whose conclusion is it though? And saying all of this, and when I wrote about all of this, it feels huge because once again, there are too many variables. So many different reasons as to why people eat or they don't eat. My life was meant to go in the way that it did in regards to my food addiction. There is this strong sense of it intending to happen, designed just for me to get where I am now, sharing what I have learned with you all. It doesn't mean you'll agree with the words that I write or the words that I speak. I am like everyone else these days. I have something to share. And each day that passes, I get stronger and stronger and I move further and further away from my food addiction. Why? It's not only because I don't want that for myself anymore. It's mostly because I'm so determined to get to know myself better. I have hidden her away for too long. As I call to mind this one part of myself that has always been there, I can see why all of this stuff fascinates me. I have constantly looked at human behavior and wondered why people do what they do. If I could get into the minds of everyone to figure this out, then I would just enthusiastically jump right in. Because food and human behavior are even more fascinating to me now that I'm unraveling myself from my food addiction in favor of understanding myself and why I had to go through it all in the first place. Once I started removing the layers, it opened up not only who I am underneath, but it opened up a wider and clearer picture and perspective on the world around us. Food fear does not have to be a thing. if it can become not a thing when you listen to your own loving voice, as they guide you to what is best for you and your body. There are too many factors that come into play when choosing what to eat. There's personal history, family traditions, upbringing, society, body type, genetics, desires, traumas and pain, convenience, fear, love, hate. The list, it goes on. So how can it be said that there is a one-size-fits-all approach to food? Only you can know what is best for you. Only you can know what you need and want. With my food addiction gone, I can hear my loving voice as I stand at the fridge or the pantry with a hungry belly, wondering what to eat. Old thoughts may pop in, but I have the ability to know that they are from the food addiction me rather than the connected and reassured me who knows I don't have to give in to that voice. In my head, when they tell me to just eat the chocolate, go on, and just eat that food that I don't actually want, I get to decide, nobody else. No longer do I demonize any foods. They are all on the same level. If I choose to eat something, I do it with love. If I choose to eat something, I do it with joy. I get to enjoy food. I get to be friends with the food I eat. I listen to my body and what it needs. So when I originally wrote this column, that morning I had had 2 breakfasts because I was genuinely hungry. I went for a run that morning, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I ate just a little while after that. And I was happy with my choice. It was delicious. It filled me up nicely at the same time. An hour later, though, I was hungry again. But I didn't overeat. I looked at my options and felt my way to my choice. This is what we're missing with our food choices. Our choice. Feel your way into your own choice in what you want to eat. Does it feel good? Does it feel right? If not, then why? Work out why with yourself. Go deep within to figure it out. Feel the fear of it anyway and get to those answers. And when you do make a choice of what to eat, as you take each bite, feel love for yourself as best you can. Why hate yourself? You don't deserve that. Ignore all those shitty thoughts inside your head as they do their best to convince you of things that aren't true. Let go of whatever food fear you may have and replace it with joy, with love, something nice. That good feeling just may change how your body receives the food. We are learning so much about the energy of us and the energy of everything else in this universe. Surely, holding on to a good feeling when you eat inserts that good feeling into the food as it enters your body. Words are powerful. Words have a strong energy on both ends of the spectrum, and they affect the subject matter on a cellular level. And Dr. Masaru Emoto experimented with water many years ago, and the results were absolutely fascinating. When observed with magnetic resonance analysis technology and high-speed photographs, he noticed the water spoken to with gratitude held a much more beautiful shape than the water that was spoken to with evil. And you can check out those photos. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes. And I've also seen photos of different types of tears that are not all alike when they are captured during various circumstances, like happy, sad, upset, all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm going to leave a link to that so you can see how amazing it is. But there's one more experiment that I want to share with you. And this one is done on rice. So 3 different jars of the same rice are either spoken to with gratitude, so thank you, or hate, I hate you, or the last one's completely ignored. Guess which one thrived and which one's decayed. I'm going to put a link to that experiment as well. There's plenty on YouTube. Now, I'm mentioning these experiments to you because if the results are anything to go by, the food we put into our bodies can be affected by our thoughts and feelings also. Our thoughts have the power to cause many a disease and illness and pain. They affect us when they are mean and horrible, and they affect us when they are loving and kind. So are the components of the food more important than the thoughts about the food? What if loving and enjoying every single mouthful that you choose to eat ends up having a more powerful effect than the components themselves? Now, we used to say grace before a meal. Yes, it was thanking God, but the gratitude is still the same whoever you may send your thanks to. It's mind over matter. Love wins overall. Positive energy inspires more positive energy. And I can say from experience that when I eat food with joy and love, it just feels so much better. There's no doubt, no shame, no guilt, no fear. It's just letting all of that shit go. And of course, when those shitty thoughts begin to crow loudly in my head, as I am doing my best to make an inspired and loving choice of what to eat, I simply yell back, shut the fuck up. All right, your exercise for this week is to have an intuitive think about your relationship with food. Do you have a food fear? What foods are you afraid of? Because you believe they may harm you in some way. Are there foods you are eating that you know aren't what you genuinely want to eat, but you continue to eat them anyway? Why? Talk to yourself about it. Ask yourself questions about the foods you are eating. What I want you to do, right, is take a big piece of paper and make 2 columns. So in the first column, write at the top, foods I'm afraid to eat. And in the second column, write foods I like to eat. In the first column, list all of the foods you are afraid to eat. Beside each food, write the reason why. Where did the fear come from? And in the next column, list all of the foods you eat now that you enjoy and foods that you would like to eat without fear. Do these feel right for you? Is it possible to include them in your daily diet? Have fun with it and be honest with yourself and the reasons why. Open yourself up to inspection and listen to your own loving voice. I reckon you are not the only one with so many fucked up thoughts. So thank you so much for listening, and remember to keep on shouting, shut the fuck up. Until next time.